Okay, so we're just all we're doing is having a look at a mammal, because we can't obviously do it with humans, or we could. I can think of a few people we could do it with, but just looking around the room, maybe. Yeah. So, like all mammals, okay, the digestive system in our friend here starts from the beginning in the mouth and ends up at the anus. Okay, so what we're going to try and do is get the digestive system out. We're going to try and lay it out, okay, without breaking it. Because if it breaks, it gets a bit smelly. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is cut the skin tissue off. Now, I need to say at this point, I'm not a biologist nor am I a surgeon. So my processes here might be a little bit messier than perhaps someone else would be. So we'll have a go and we'll see how we get on. So well, that's what we'll find out, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to start down here and I'm going to try and cut away, because we want to get the skin away, the fur. Okay, because just like you, there's kind of like a layer, right, and then a layer that holds all your guts in, if you like, you know, a sort of skin layer that holds your guts in. When you cut through that layer, and you can see underneath here, it's a tissue layer. See the layer there? Okay, so I've just sort of perforated a little bit. That's what holds everything together. And if you get like a gunshot wound in your stomach or a knife wound in your stomach, things fall out. They fall out, and because the only thing that's holding them in there is A, the skin, and B, this sort of, you know, this protective layer. Now, if this was a real person and we're doing surgery on them, and we got up to this point up here where the rib cage is, you got to understand that when you have heart surgery and lung surgery, that they're in behind your ribs. Okay, so your ribs have to be moved out of the way. To do that, they use a rib splitter. That means they cut down the middle of the ribs, and then they have a thing which is like a vice, but it works in reverse because it goes outwards, and they wind it, and it spreads the ribs apart like that. So every rib is broken when you have heart surgery of that type, okay? Then they do the heart surgery, then they put you back together. So one of the things you're going to have is a real problem with your ribs for a while, but it's better than being dead, okay? So in theory, we should be able to go right from the top to the bottom, getting this layer of skin out of the way. I once had a student at a rural school who was he was fantastic at doing this, because he'd been as a hunter, and maybe some of you guys are too, but he had this thing laid out, skinned completely, the whole thing skinned, and all the intestines laid out in 10 minutes. Couldn't believe it. I've never seen anything like that.
There's a flies already.
Yeah. Well, the flies know when there's a feed around, you know, they're not silly. So when we look at the meaty tissue here, that's the muscle, okay? So that's, if we were doing like, you know, the food test we did the other day, that would show a positive test for that, or not that it's a food item really, but... Now this is a white rat, okay, as I said, bred specifically for the job. So they're not the same species as the ones you'll see come out of the river down here, but they are not that different, okay? And they're not native to New Zealand, of course, are they? All right? You know that, right? There's only 2 native mammals in New Zealand. What are they?
Kiwi.
Kiwi's not a mammal, it's a bird.
Dog and
cat.
Really? You think that? You believe that? Seriously, no?
It's a bulldog.
What is the native animal? 2 native mammals in New Zealand. Land mammals.
Sheep and cows.
Red nose. No. Not native. Not native. Came here. Wasn't written here. No, sheep came here.
Oh, he's got a
They're not native. I'll give you a clue. They're both flying mammals.
Eagle? Flying?
Birds are not mammals.
Oh, penguin? Yellow-eyed penguin?
Land. And they're birds as well.
They lay eggs.
But you said they were birds.
Yeah, I did. No, I said they flew.
So they fly.
I said they're mammals, not birds. But they fly. What sort of mammals fly? No. Well, you're actually close, because they talk about flying foxes, but they're not actually foxes. What are they?
They're like things you sit on and you go,
Not wombats. You're close.
oh, funny.
The what? Bats, yeah. There are 2 native mammals to New Zealand. They're both bats. One's called the long-tailed bat, one's called the short-tailed bat. All other mammals, land mammals, are introduced, including humans. Okay, so we've got the cavity open here now, so we can see all the way from the top up here. Now this is a rodent, right?
You
Let's
see,
see.
here's the two big
This is a rodent, so it's got different dentition to us, all right? It's got its long incisors there, and they are, unlike ours, as far as I'm aware, they keep growing because they wear them out quite quickly, all right? Now what we're going to try and do is make a cut down the middle,
Oh mate, I love
cut through his rib cage.
it. Mate, that's my feet tonight. I'm probably gonna throw up at dinner now.
Okay, the surgeon here's done a brilliant job.
Already cut
Not as
open
bad
the
as when my
lung.
dad was cutting up a deer and I stood on the gut bag.
Oh, I cut open a gut bag of it, but it wasn't.
It went,
Excuse my angle here. I'm just going to cut this round so I can get. I'm trying to try and get right through.
Esophagus.
Yeah, so I can see the esophagus.
I'm actually quite hungry.
this is really nice.
No, I don't think I'm going to get that far. So I'm just going to trim down here. Now, here we can see the layout, which is very similar to you. Okay. So we've got the heart up here, right? Here's the little heart.
Oh mate, that looks like
Just
a
more
black bean.
Yep. And in under here, there's tissue in here. That's the lungs. It's not very obvious. There's another one under there. Okay. We got a big one down here. This is no, it's liver. Okay. And then we've got there's this. Can you see the stomach there? Yeah. There it is there. Okay. So that is the size of the stomach in a rat. Okay. So that's quite big as a proportion of his body size. Because if your stomach was that big, you'd be eating a lot more food, I think. Okay. And here we've got the intestines. So what we're going to try and do now is lay those intestines out. A lot of fatty tissue around here as well, but we're going to try and lay those intestines out. Okay, but before we do that, we might just whip out the old heart, because that's always fun.
But still, stop bleeding ferociously.
It's not alive.
So that's to give you an idea of the size of the heart tissue there, okay? Now, I'm going to find my stomach.
Because it will be beating when it's frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is one end of the stomach. Yeah.
I feel really good.
Okay.
My pork sandwich.
And now we're going to try and lay out. And again, I'm not a very good surgeon, so please excuse me if it doesn't go too well. So this is the what sort of intestine do you call this?
Small.
Small because it's narrow, yeah. Yeah. Okay, and I might try from. Somehow come to the other end here and see if we can get that out.
Is it a male or female?
I think it was a female actually.
Oh, these are large intestine.
Yep. They are a little bit attached at the back. Okay. We're going to try and avoid cutting through them if we can though.
Yeah, it's still recording.
Okay, so we've got a section of the large intestine. See all the fatty tissue here? Alright, because a rat is quite a small creature, so to try and keep warm, it's got quite a bit of fatty tissue around its essential organs.
Mate, get in there, Julian.
Okay, that's the last end part of the large intestine there. Okay. Alright. Now here we got our, here we have our intestines. I'm going to try and unravel them here. Okay. See how long they smells great, doesn't it?
Smells like chicken,
Smells like KFC.
Not really, no.
It's chicken.
Well, he's been in the freezer for a few months, so you know, you've got to give it a fair go.
Yeah, just a couple months.
He's a bit tangled like a fishing line, you know? Now, because I'm not a surgeon, I haven't had to play with the human intestines, but I would imagine all we've got is the same type of thing, but a little bit enlarged. I don't know about the relative lengths of the sizes of the two, but, you know, we're getting here and I haven't finished unraveling yet. We've still got something which is twice as long as the rat, at least. Okay, so it's pretty good.
Oh, 1080p.
So here we go. This is going well. Look at this. Can we uncool this part? What do you reckon?
Yeah.
The gut.
Oh,
Or mate, just unravel.
there we go.
Yeah.
It's like it's noodles.
Logan, you feel good now?
All right. So I mean, we don't have a ruler here, but there's the width of the piece of paper, okay?
It's one of my bag. What is it?
Oh, I don't think we want to lay the ruler onto here, do we?
Just.
Okay. And we want to go across and back a few times. Okay. Across and
I
back.
think I've just been put off my lunch.
And across and back. Yeah, you probably won't want too much lunch after this, but let's go. So, the small intestine, starting from the base of the stomach here, alright, all the way around to there, okay, then the large intestine is taken. The large intestine is wider, and this one's quite small, quite short, isn't it? It's only about the length of the rat, whereas this one's about at least 4 times the length of the rat. So if we were applying that to a human, if you were, let's say, 1.5 metres tall, you'd have 6 metres long of small intestine, which I think is about right. Yeah. Okay. So back into our little fella here. The rat's got a very large liver.
And I love it.
You listening?
I'm just love
Enjoying it? Excellent. The rat's got a very large liver because they eat all sorts of things, so they need to be able to process the stuff. Because the liver gets rid of and purifies a lot of the crap that you eat, basically. Okay. Because in humans we have a much very less varied diet. A rat will eat just about anything. Okay. They need a very good functioning liver. Okay. So here's our rib cage, and you can see the little ribs here. All right. I don't know how many compared with us. Probably pretty similar number, I would think.
I've actually
Okay, and then behind here we've got our lung tissue and stuff like that. Lungs are pretty small, a rat. Okay, but generally speaking with mammals, the smaller they are, the faster they breathe anyway, so they have a very high breathing rate. So inside here we've got all this fatty tissue. There's a kidney. Can you see the 2 kidneys down here? Okay, we'll just take one out.
They look like black beans.
They do, they're about the size of black beans, yeah. Now you've got 2 kidneys, of course, and you only need one, all right? You only need one. There's 1 kidney. Okay, 1 needs to function, however, otherwise you end up like poor old John Alomu and you're reliant on dialysis treatment every few days.
And he got a radio guy.
He got a transplant, but then didn't keep on. It worked for quite a while, but yeah. So it was a bit sad, but
very sad.
very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at the structure of a rat, listen, look at the structure of a rat, and you compare it with our body, the size of our legs and our arms compared with the size of the the intestine area, in a rat it's quite small ratio, and in us it's much bigger, isn't it? Okay.
Calves are actually very huge.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Can we make them a little smaller for you?
Can't open its tail through.
Eh?
Can't open its tail.
Can open its tail, why?
See what's in it.
What do you think's in it?
Bone.
You think it's got bone in it?
Cartilage.
Isn't that cartilage?
I heard
Cartilage
bones
and
snap.
bone.
To be honest, I don't know what's in it, but I'm going to go with it. It feels like bone. So it'd be a bit like a oxtail.
Had a wee bean jaw.
All right, oxtail is made of bones and they're jointed, and the little. I could imagine here there's quite a few joints in this bone. Okay.
A bit.
So who saw the last night on TV1 just for the news the fishing guy?
Yeah.
And he got the anaconda. Did you see that? Oh, that was perfect. Anaconda is 20 foot long, 6 metre long anaconda. He caught it. Yeah, he was diving in diving gear in the river in South America to catch the anaconda. And then it's like, it wraps around him. It's like, I hate snakes. I can't stand it. That's it. So, this is our friend the rat then, okay? So, just going through from the beginning, okay? He's a rabid eater. They eat anything basically because of their very strong teeth at the start. Down through here, into his stomach. Okay, then we've got all the digestive processes occurring there and out through the anus. We're not going to open that up because it might be a bit smelly. Questions? Yes? Can't hear you because people are talking.
Can you blow up its liver or what is it?
It's lungs.
No, you wouldn't do it with these because it's too small. When you next year when you do the medical science topic, your teacher you'll get to have a go at a heart, but the teacher will have a heart and lungs that's complete, and hopefully you'll get the inflation on the lungs there. You don't want to blow them up too much though, because if they go boom, it's not very much fun. But I'm sure some of you have tried that on the farms anyway. Okay, then any questions?
Why is he smiling?
I'm not sure that's smiling, but yeah, good point. Yeah,
It might be
yeah
smiling
I think he's.
upside down.
How would they call it, like an injection?
With these, I think they just gas them. Okay, and asphyxiate them, and then they pop them in the freezer for more or less straight away. Yeah. So this is it's a pretty inactive animal. They're sort of big and fat. Okay, so they're not very active because they're just elaborate. All right? No. Well, because it's an animal that's here for research. I mean, you don't sort of, it's not a toy. You know what I mean? We show some respect for the fact that this animal died for our class today. Yes. It'll go in the rubbish, but yeah, it's like anything anything that you kill. You don't play with it before you kill it. I mean, even though it's dead. You know what I mean? Huh? Up here, I can't actually. It's pretty solid.
Oh, mate, you just hear that crunch. Did you hear that? I was like, crunch. Oh. Oh, they're just breaking his ribs there.
Yeah, it's just breaking the ribs, basically. Okay?
Oh, it literally mean
Look at the brain.
No.
Oh, yeah, the
No, I don't
brain.
look at the brain.
Could do
Don't
me
look
tweezers?
at that.
Can you grab an eyeball out?
No.
You don't play with it.
Now you can sue it. Okay? Alright, if there's nothing else, we shall say goodbye to him. Turn that off now.
Later, brothers.